Speaking of the West, now we're going to go off to you two's team that Kojo's wearing a jersey right now, the Los Angeles Lakers. So we saw the Lakers beat the Clippers just with LeBron activating them Hall of Fame clamps on Kawhi and Paul George. But I want to ask, they lost to the Raptors. So I want to get you guys' take on this game because we did speak about the Lakers in previous pods. We did say with the loss of Avery Bradley and Rondo that their perimeter D is going to affect them a lot, and we have seen that in the bubble. So right now they're not shooting great, and their D is going on. So Kojo, what is going on with the Lakers at the moment?
I think 2 weeks ago on the pod when you and Adam Dean discussed the Lakers' issues heading into this restart, I think you guys were right and spot on. Our perimeter defense is not good at this current moment. The amount of threes that the Clippers took and made on Thursday's game was very alarming. And even just the ease that Fred VanVleet, just him making his 3-point shooters on Saturday's game was very alarming as well. But what I want to talk about the Lakers here, which for me has kind of slightly concerned me. The game against the Clippers, right? Cool. I was very confident he was going to win that game, knowing that Montrezl Harrell and Lou Williams were going to be out for that game. I thought he was going to win by at least 10, maybe 15 points. Maybe so, do you know what I'm saying? I'm guessing we got the win, don't get me wrong. A win's a win. And it's good that we leveled the series against them. And it's going to give the guys a bit more confidence that you just want to get to Clippers. But for me, what I'm concerned about, is that it took a maximum effort from LeBron James, who kind of got a lucky rebound of a terrible, terrible shot, And the fact is that they were without Louis Williams and Montrezl Harrell, which combined for 38 points. And we only won the game by 2 points. That's very concerning because in the playoff series, if you got Montrezl Harrell and Louis Williams in that game, I don't think, and the way the Lakers played just offensively was a horrible shooting as well. Even against the Raptors it was worse. But for me, that's a bit concerning. You can't do that against the Clippers. Cool, was the first game back in 4.5 months, so I'm going to be a bit more easier on it. But then following that game against the Raptors, it was a horrible shootout, the worst shootout of the season. And LeBron James had a better game offensively, slightly, but AD only had 14 points? Again, so we're not getting... So these past 2 games, we haven't seen the best of our 2 main guys, which has been AD and LeBron. And you've got to look at as well, what's also concerning as well, is that the rotations that Frank Vogel's doing are not great. Darren Waite should be playing more minutes. J.R. Smith should be playing more minutes. I don't care. He should be playing more minutes, at least 20 minutes a game. Why is he not playing 20 minutes a game? Get him into rhythm because we need for the playoffs. If they're playing around 10, 15, what's the point? Because what we've seen right now in this playoff contention is that, for me, if Portland going to get it, Portland going to be a tough team no matter what. San Antonio Spurs are an experienced playoff team. They've got a good coach. They can cause their problems if they wanted to. So you have to get these guys into rhythm. And that's what's really annoyed me. Frank Vogel's not getting these guys rhythm. Our perimeter defense is shocking. And it took a maximum effort from LeBron James, a 35-year-old, who got a lucky rebound to beat the Los Angeles Clippers without Montrezl Harrell and Lou Williams, which combined for 38 points. That's what concerns me the most. And we have to beat Utah just tonight. If we don't beat, oh my God. If we cannot beat, Toni, I'm not getting me started because Utah have been awful. They have been awful. If we can't beat Utah just tonight, for me, there's some concerns about this Lakers, genuine concerns, and they need to get sorted quickly because the games are coming quick and fast. The playoffs is in a week and a half's time. The Lakers need to get the act together. I still believe in this team, but if they can't get this act together, it's been very concerning. And the Clippers are a good team. The Bucks are a good team. The Raptors, for me, you stepped on the Raptors, Toni. They showed their quality team. I think right now, currently they're up by 1 against the Heat. But again, it's just not really the best start from the Lakers so far.
See, I'll be honest, I didn't watch the Toronto game because it was like Eid and stuff, so I was celebrating and whatnot. But what I did hear was guys like AD and stuff. AD was clamped down. He had 1 point, I think, at the half. Like, that's just not going to stand out. Don't get me wrong, they played both really good teams. The Clippers, the first game, both had really sloppy turnovers. It was a game of runs. I think our defense was just awful that game. They were hitting threes. I remember Paul George, start of the third quarter, the 2 threes he hit, he could have taken a bite of a burger and hit it. He still would have scored. That's how much time and space he had. Like you say, we just about scraped through that game. I feel like for us, it's just a case of let's wrap up the number 1 seed, which can get done really quickly. We only need a couple more wins, or if results go
Just 2 more wins.
2 more wins, or if I think results go our way, we just need 1. And then I reckon we are going to see a bit more of a relaxed LeBron James playing time stuff. I don't think they're going to play these guys into rhythm like how you're assuming. I feel like it'll be the first round of the plus, which could be very dangerous.
No, I'm not saying LeBron James needs to get into rhythm. I'm just saying other guys like
as a team itself. I feel like when you're saying about like LeBron and stuff, I feel like he'll be rested a lot more.
Yeah, of course.
Because he is getting old, but I feel like that's going to be a dangerous strategy. Because if my prediction is what I think right now, and the San Antonio Spurs players, very well, the best coach probably in the league outside of a couple of guys in the East, with Greg Popovich, I think that could be a longer series than
people expect.
I think that could go 6, which would be really horrible for the Lakers.
It would be 100%.
I think, like I said at the start with Houston, I feel like we're now the 3rd best team in the Western Conference. I have the Clippers as number 1 and Houston as number 2. And if we play Houston, I said that from the start, and you guys kind of laughed at me a bit. We would struggle a lot against them because if they are as quick as they are, they're playing small ball, and we have to then match them for their intensity. I don't think an aging LeBron, Bell, Dwight Howard, and a few other guys on that roster can really match them pace for pace, and that's going to be a big problem for us. And I feel like we could get beat in the second round, and then the worst nightmare happens where his AD just looks at this franchise and thinks, I don't really need to sign here and get my money somewhere else as well. So for me, it's not danger. It's not a danger zone. But like you're saying, Kojo, if we can't beat the Utah Jazz convincingly today, then
it's concerning. It's concerning.
More concerned,
Yeah, and I mean, I'm gonna touch on a few more subjects with this Lakers situation, Toni. I think we all know without LeBron James, this Lakers team is just not a great offensive team. And he's been very passive these past 2 games, whether if he's just being relaxed because he wants to kind of just get into good condition, heading towards the playoffs, who knows, or maybe we just faced 2 defensive teams just locked down LeBron James. But if that's the case, which I think it is, I think we just faced 2 good defensive teams locked down LeBron James. We're going to face good defensive teams such as potentially the Denver Nuggets in the postseason, maybe Houston. Again, they're not a great defensive team, but Houston, what we've seen, they're scary because one, they have good ball movement, they can create open spaces, and they can shoot well, and they take a lot of threes. The Lakers suck at perimeter defending at this current moment. We're not great at perimeter defending, and you're looking at right now, Abbas is right. We're the 3rd best team in the West right now since the restart. I'm not going to over-exaggerate and say, you know what, we're probably not going to make the conference finals or we're not legit title contenders, because what we've seen from the regular season so far, the Lakers can show that they are a legitimate team to win the championship. And when LeBron James gets a goal, and this team is very, very good offensively, and we know defensively this team is great, and we know that the Lakers' style of play is predicated of defense. And we've maintained that so far in the restart, but just not on the perimeter. And I feel like Frank Vogel really needs to do the best he can in training to get that perimeter defense working. Because if you can't defend the threes, it's going to be horrible because you're going to get into a shootout. The Lakers are not shooting great from 3. I don't think we're a top 5 3-point shooting team in general. So we can't get into that situation where you have to be shooting a lot of threes. It's not going to work. We saw Caruso was horrible from the threes against Toronto. Quinn Cook, he's not really getting that much minutes. I would like him to get more minutes because he's a good 3-point shooter. He's a good off guard. So there's a lot of the things which that's one. Okay, cool. So there's a lot of things for Frank Vogel to kind of mend and get the Lakers team clicking before the playoffs, because right now it's a bit concerning, but I'm not going to over-exaggerate. This team is still good enough to get the job done.
I have a hot take.
What is it?
I think that the Lakers aren't actually a team. I think it is pretty much LeBron and AD and the rest. And this is why I don't see them
beating the Clippers. Because
the way how they are set up, it is very much so. If LeBron can't get it done, if AD gets like 14, that's it. And I think the problem of this whole deal that they made with the Pelicans was they gave up too much, and now they're pretty much stuck with the lack of depth. Because I think these players that they have on their team, like J.R. Smith, Dion Waiters and stuff like that, they're not, I don't see them as intense game changers. I don't see them as being able to really rally the team. Whereas the Clippers, I feel they have that. Even the Nuggets, I think they have that a lot more. So it's like, I think the Lakers, I can't see them winning it all because I feel they don't have, like, LeBron's going to be tired even after the first series, I believe, if they get past it. So it's like, going forward, a lot's going to be put on Anthony Davis's shoulders, and he's not going to want that whole load. I feel that the Clippers were smart in their recruitment of Kawhi because I believe they made sure that they made a team that will stop LeBron. Even when they got one of the Morris twins, they had set up a full plan to make sure that the Lakers won't be able to have the depth that they want, therefore making LeBron and AD pretty much on their own.
Look, I'm sorry, before you go, Tony, I just want to say, I kind of agree with what you're saying, James, but I want you to kind of know that this Lakers team can be the Clippers of the 7-game series. Like, if they are playing their best basketball, defensive and offensively, we can be the Clippers team. I can hear you on the point with the Clippers. I do agree that the Clippers are the best team in basketball from top to bottom, and they probably have the best defensive rotations in the league, and probably are the best offensive team when they want to be in the league, barring Milwaukee. But I wouldn't put that whole notion that the Clippers are way better than the Lakers because we can beat them if we get things right. The only issue is, can we get things right for 7 games in a series? And can LeBron show us that he's still got that playoff beast mode? That's the main thing. If he can do that, then I'm very confident in Lakers because you got less pressure off AD to kind of perform. And so on and so on. So, yeah, and then we got a good defensive team. Just needs to just be better on the perimeter and just, kind of stop them 3 points from going in. So that's what I can say. But
the thing is, I'm going to look at the Lakers because I did say I feel like I have the Lakers to win it all. But right now, I've got to look at it a bit objectively. So against the Clippers, the Lakers shot under 40% and still won, which isn't great because you shouldn't be shooting under 40%. But the fact that you still got the game done, you still got the job done. So props to them and that. But against the Raptors, they had their worst shooting percentage of any game this season. They shot a season low 35%, which is not good right now. And Doc Rivers said it first, this is a make or miss league, bro. You make your shots, you either make your shots or you miss them. Do you know what I mean? So at the same time, yes, they're missing shots now. Yes, they'll get their rhythm. They haven't been playing basketball since March. We're in a bubble. They'll start to shoot a bit better. I do get that. But right now, they're shooting 11% lower than they were in the regular season in the bubble. And they're shooting 8% less at 3 as well than they were in the regular season. And one thing that concerns me about Lakers is the fourth quarter. And I'm going to go on Abbas's point. Remember how you said Dame doesn't close games down the bench? Neither does LeBron and AD. And that concerns me because at the same time, especially against the Raptors, you guys were up by 4 with 10 minutes and 23 to go. You were up by 4 against the Raptors. This is the time for LeBron and AD to show that. Because remember, if you saw it, ESPN put out an article of the top players in the bubble right now. LeBron was first and AD was within the top 5. So really and truly, you guys have 2 top 5 players. You're up by 4. You've got 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Close the game out against the Raptors. Fair enough, the Raptors are the reigning champions, but this isn't the same Raptors team we saw last year.
It's not a horrible team, though. Do you get what I mean?
It's not a horrible team, though. I think, Tony,
I'm not saying they're
overlooking them.
Yeah.
But you have 2 top 5 players. Close the game out.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
I agree with you.
You have the best situation.
What I'm going to say is...
And wait, sorry, I have a bit. But what I'll say is that right now, especially with your perimeter defense, you guys on average are giving away 15 threes on average. That's never happened before. No team gives up 14, let alone 15. So right now, your perimeter defense really needs to pattern up. And right now, especially in the only thing that's concerning me is the fourth quarter stuff. Because you did say, like, your best players have got to close your fourth quarters out. You're up by 4. This is the time for LeBron and AD to be like, boom. Because remember, against the Clippers, you guys were up, and LeBron and AD, even not the Clippers game against in the regular season, if it wasn't for Avery Bradley shooting lights out, you guys would have lost that game. So LeBron and AD, I don't know what it is. They start well in the fourth quarter, but down the stretch, they just seem to just decline. And right now, because in that fourth quarter, in the last 10 minutes, you got outscored 35-16. After Raptors, the Raptors are a good team, but 35-16, that's not good. That's concerning.
It's not good enough. And you're right, because even in the Clippers game, like we had a good start to the full quarter. Like, I think we were up at least 11 points, and then it got to the last minute, probably 30 seconds, and they tied the game. So that's what I'm saying. A 11-point lead at the start, and then to kind of tie the game in the last 30 seconds, and then the pressure to be on and LeBron to kind of get that shot, and then of course great defense what he did it on Kawhi and Paul George. But the Lakers have never should put that situation when you're leading by 11 points within the last 8 minutes to go. You allow, Kawhi and Paul George and even Patterson to make threes and close the lead to around 3 points, and you allow Paul George to hit a step back three to tie the game. That should happen for a team which is supposed to be championship contender level.
Mm.
So Tony makes a very good point in that.
You guys have to start winning these games, and you need to start closing out games. This is my big concern with the Lakers.
Right.
Because you saw it with the Clippers game, and AD needs to start closing out games because he only I don't know how many he scored. He scored 14 points that game.
He scored 14. I think he only made 3 field goals.
Yeah.
Yeah, only 3 field goals. Yeah.
Now, and the thing is, I won't. It's concerning, but it's not a massive concern because we're literally 2 games into the bubble. You guys are shooting. You guys ain't shooting well, but it's a make or miss league. Like, you guys are going to start scoring eventually. This isn't going to be a recurring problem, hopefully.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you need to pattern your perimeter defense. You'll start shooting again. You will shoot a better percentage. You won't shoot 35% every game, so it's not that bad. So this game against Utah, we need to see much better perimeter defense because especially Abbas was right. You guys go with your perimeter defense right now. If you guys go against the Rockets, you lot are going to get cooked in transition.
I said this.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, and I'm sorry, and I'll apologize, because I did say the perimeter defense is not good. It's not good, and right now the only person that can play a bit of perimeter defense guard-wise is Caruso at tops, and he's not going to get the minutes to be guarding Harden and Westbrook constantly. And if you play any good team that can cook you down in transition, you guys have got a big problem. Fair enough. Yes, you are still the Lakers, and you are going to start scoring again, and you are a good team. But those are concerns that you guys need to pattern up as soon as possible, bro, because right now in the bubble, there's no home or away games. Remember Adam Taylor was talking about that coach he spoke to, that they're all road games. There's no... Yeah. It's literally just play up. It's literally... You're playing the neighborhood basketball, do you know what I mean? It's literally what team's going to win.
Even playing field.
It's an even playing field, and it's the best basketball team's going to win. So right now, those are my concerns with the Lakers.
Cool. And the only way the Lakers going to win the championship, before that you go, Abbas, the only way the Lakers going to win the championship is if they get the defense, all parts of the defense solid. Because before the the suspension, before the bubble, the Lakers were a decent. Right now, we were a good perimeter defensive team, and we were very good on the interior and kind of defending the rim. The Lakers can just improve that perimeter defense, because our whole game is predicated on defense. We get stops, both interior wise, rim wise, perimeter wise. This Lakers can run the offense on LeBron James on the fast break, create space, get open spots for Caruso, AD, KCP. We just touched on Danny Green. He needs to be shooting better as well. I'm not gonna lie to you. He's kind of pissing me off. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, he didn't get any points.
Yeah, he needs to start shooting better because for me, we got him he's done more defensively. Could be better from the perimeter wise, but he's done more defensively in terms of on ball. But we also got him because he's been a career 42% shooter from the free. You get me? You're not shooting at that range that we expect you to be shooting. I think he's averaging 34% or 35% this year, which is well off his target. And if he's not making those threes, it's going to be very concerning for the Lakers because he's actually statistically our best 3-point shooter alongside LeBron James. And LeBron, he's got whole lot of load with facilitating, defending, especially when it comes to playoff time. You need Danny Green to make those threes. And that's what annoys me. When you get the stops on the fast break, you get the open shot, you're not making those threes. That really pisses me off the most. And the Lakers need to be better on that to win these games. But it's not a major concern. Let's see what happens against the Jazz and the rest of the games this week. I'm hoping we get the win so we can look up the first seed and just start rotating players and kind of get a breather a bit before the postseason and that kind of week and a half.
So let me just start with your point, James. Yeah, did we give up too much for AD? Yeah, because I've said this from the start. This is a break or bust season for us anyway. Because at the end of the day, what we've given up, you guys have locked up over in New Orleans. We've got nothing, absolutely nothing locked up. We've just hoped. We've literally done throw and inshallah. Let's just hope what happens. Yeah. That's literally how this has panned out right now. If this doesn't go to plan, can AD not resign 100%? Do I think he'll resign most likely? But there's always an opportunity for him to resign. You are right on that. Now on Tony's point, right, when you think about closing out, LeBron James, let's go to AD to start with. He was on New Orleans. he wasn't really on a winning team. So if there was tight games or whatever, he wasn't there to always close them out. He was just a very dominant player. He was a very, very good player on an average team. So in terms of closing out aspect, I'm not even going to look on that as well. So that's a problem. LeBron James, when it comes to closing out, I don't see him as a closer. I know people are going to think, what does that, how like, can the best player
it's true. It's true.
be a closer? And I'll tell you how the shot that he made right now, where he got the rebound and thingy, had he not made that shot, people wouldn't have criticized him too much because it would have been like, oh, he tried, but we're going into overtime. If the margin of a game is it's a tied ball game or split second time frame, but I'm banking my money on LeBron to do something because he doesn't have to think too much, if that makes sense. Can you remember the shot against the Washington Wizards where he's literally falling out of bounds?
Falling out of bounds, yeah.
Goes in. There's loads of them where you can look at, but if you look at LeBron where he has to pick up the ball, it's a 2-point game and he's got time to think. I'm not banking my money on LeBron James to make that shot, which is why I don't see him as that much of a closer. This team really facilitates around guys who can close. I don't think we have a closer per se, like a natural closer, like someone like LeBron had with Kyrie. I don't think we have that at the Lakers. Now, again, and it's going to be another point when you talk about load and stuff, LeBron's playing that. He's not playing that point guard role, but he's going to have a lot more of the ball. And you guys were saying to me that he can do stuff like this. I said it from the start. I'd rather have a guard play at guard's position and let LeBron play the point forward position. And right now, I'm just hoping that he can stay healthy enough, not even healthy enough, not burn out enough where we can use him in the playoffs as much. I don't believe this Lakers team really has closers. I just think we've got two really good players who can hopefully lead us with good players around. Kyle Kuzma can get hot. Alex Caruso, I think Walker's got more faith in him now. And aside from that, Dion Waiters, JR, Dwight's a good rotational piece with JaVale. I don't think AD is comfortable playing in that 5 role anyway because I think he can get bullied quite quickly. So for him, he can only play really the 4 and the 3 possibly. But that 5 role is not for him, as like some people say. So it's not as special as what a lot of people thought. And yeah, for me, it's a 7-game series. I mean, if it's the first round against San Antonio, that's a nightmare matchup. Give me Portland, give me Memphis. As an outsider, give me the Pelicans. Something that's not as experienced, I'm happy. Give me San Antonio. I think he'll go 6, and that's where we'll struggle a bit.
Okay,
wait.
see, look.
Did someone touch on?
I had to say this quickly.
The Lakers bench.
Kojo, 1 minute. I had to say.
So you go.
I must say this. Okay.
All right, cool.
I have agenda. I'm all about agenda, right? Okay, so right now the Lakers are struggling with their perimeter defense.
Yeah.
Who would have helped out on perimeter defense if he didn't get traded?
Who? He didn't get traded.
Ball. Yeah, no.
You got a point.
And then.
Avery Bradley.
No, it's not about him right now. Right now, it's about Lonzo Ball. And then, who would have been the guard to bring up the ball and help LeBron James out? Lonzo Ball. See, they've traded him, and now they could have really needed him in this moment. That's my bit on Lonzo Ball.
I do agree.
I've always said we gave up too much for nothing that was set in stone. We never got AD on a contract where it was like, oh, we've got 2 years still to go. You're not going to get me to disagree. We gave up a young core, but the only thing was we literally went championship or bust. That's why I keep saying this constantly. I keep drilling it. If AD signs again, fair enough, we get one more crack at it. But LeBron's aging a bit. By the time his contract ends, I believe, and I might be wrong, can his son play professional basketball then?
I think by the year, on his last year, that will be his draft.
There you go. So that's what we're looking at. The fact that you can play a father-son league and your father will be that old. Like LeBron aging a bit. He's got 2 years really. I can't see his final year of his contract becoming a championship. And I know for his legacy, LeBron needs that chip, especially in LA. Like it's not a small town market like Cleveland.
Yeah.
Kinda, I guess you could say, but this would be.
You kind of can say Miami.
Miami's not a small town market, but
no, not a small town, but they're medium. They're not a major market.
But this will set LeBron as okay. We can put you in a Michael Jordan debate and have you stick there properly. Because right now, it's not falling well for him, especially if you can't win this championship.
Agreed.